Good day and welcome back to another DB Legends video. In this video we are just going to briefly discuss the rating tier list changes that have occurred in Dragon Ball Legends. So for those of you who do not know, the ratings tier list essentially is a kind of balancing adjustment that the game does per season, and characters that are less played or less frequently played get a big boost whenever they are used in PvP to kind of counteract people running the same teams. And if you progress it, they did change it recently, if you add more characters from the same kind of category, from the same episode, then they will even get even more progressively stronger. So as you can see here, you can see the differences. So featured units obviously have damage up 20%, strike and blast defense up 15%. After Zenkai Awakening, the buffs become less, obviously just due to the units being stronger. Tier Z has a huge increase of 40%, which is pretty nuts, and they gain 20% damage up per episode member. So obviously it's not imperative to use Z tier units. A lot of the times the Z tier units are not necessarily, the best units in the game. A lot of them are very out of date, but it does try to promote people changing stuff and like just making a whole like new premise of the game. So it does create some kind of like better PvP environments. I think like people try to change things a little bit more. So yeah, in terms of that, notably in the Z tier list, you're not going to see a lot of great units. You can see kind of like all of these units are not frequently used. I mean, the Bulma units are not great. You've got Pan, you've got a couple girls units in the Z tier, which could be an interesting concept to kind of run. If you run a whole bunch of girls units, but remember they have to be from the same episode to incur that rating bonus as well, so you do have to factor that in. But yeah, for the most part, it's pretty interesting. Obviously, try and take a look through the ratings tier list, see who is kind of like the big, try and see if there's anyone you can use. Interesting combination would be the girls from Universe 3, I believe it is. That could be something interesting. And as you go down through the list, you will find more popular characters, like here in Tier S, which is only a small step down from Tier Z. You can find a couple fusion units, Potara units, things like that, Majin Buu Saga units as well. So there are a couple interesting teams to make that you can run. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to kind of run them all together and really just see how good these guys are. Maybe you will find a nice cool combination of units that you can kind of phase in. You don't have to use all the same tier. You could, for example, build a Cell Saga based team and use those two cells and then drop down a tier and grab more cells. And yeah, there's a lot that you can do. So there's no like limitation on you to like use certain units and stuff like that, but it is interesting because maybe there's a unit you haven't used. Maybe you're running a fusion team and you haven't used red Vegeta, free-to-play Vegeta in a while, and hey, now all of a sudden, bam, you throw in red Vegeta and he's a Z tier unit, or an S tier unit, sorry, and he gets a nice big boost and you find that he's usable for this season. And that's generally the concept with like ratings tier list, is just to try and spice up a team. Like you can take a team that you always use, maybe you always run Sans, maybe you always run GT, and you find that one of them is up in the tier list and hey, you go and grab them. So yeah, obviously as you drop down, the boosts get less and less impressive, but you'll find the stronger and more common units. This isn't to say that units in the final tier are bad, it just literally means that they're so good they're being used all the time. So yeah, it is one of those things. Take a look through the tier list, see if you can alter your team. But it's always good to go through it at the start of every change with every different, I think it's every alternative season or so. And it just helps to really try and look. There's no other way to check the list. I wish there was a way for them to show like whether a unit's Z tier or S tier within your actual team building so that you could factor it in, which I think they need to change. But yeah, overall, it's just something small and it's something interesting. And yeah, take a look through, guys, and see if you can change your teams. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and bye.